So students, I'm back with the same topic. In my previous video, I left on story of Mexico Olympic 1968. This story is closely related with the theme of the chapter. So carefully listen this story. What happens? It was the year of 1968. You all know that in the Olympic Games, different kinds of the games are played by the different players. So it was the event of 200-meter race. सब जानते हो आप मैक्सिको मैंने आपको बताया था कहाँ पर है, कहाँ लोकेटेड है। और ओलंपिक गेम्स में क्या होता है कि अलग अलग तरह की गेम्स होती हैं जिसमें डिफरेंट प्लेयर्स जो होते हैं अलग अलग तरह के गेम इवेंट्स में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं। तो ये इवेंट जो था इट वाज अ 200-मीटर रेस इवेंट। When it was played by the different players, result was, now see what was the result. Tommy Smith, this person who belonged to America, he was an US athlete. Tommy Smith. He scored first position and he got gold medal. Then second, who was second? Second was Peter Norman. He scored second position and he won a silver medal. And this person, Peter Norman, he was also an athlete, but he belonged to Australia. He was an Australian athlete. And third position was scored by John Carlos. Third position with bronze medal. One similarity was there in between these all three players. First similarity was, can you tell me? Yes, three of them were athletes. This was the first similarity among three of them. But one more similarity was there, which was in between the two players. Who were these two players? One was Tommy Smith and another was John Carlos. These two people, both of the person belonged to America. But they were not called American. They were called as Afro-American. Tommy Smith and John Carlos. Similarity was they were US athlete. Both of them belonged to US, United States of America. But they were not pure American. They were Afro-American. Can you tell me the meaning of Afro-American? What is the meaning of African American? They are African, they are American. What is their identity? See, I make you to understand this very simple term. African American, those people who were living in America since long years, but actually they belong to Africa, means their forefathers settled down in America since the long years. कहने का मतलब ये है कि एक्चुअली ओरिजिनली ये लोग अफ्रीका के थे, लेकिन बहुत बहुत सालों से क्योंकि अमेरिका में रह रहे थे तो अब अमेरिकन कहलाने लगे थे, बट ओरिजिनली दे बिलोंग टू अफ्रीका, सो दे वर नोन एज एफ्रो अमेरिकन या अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन. बट दीज अफ्रीकन अमेरिकन वर इन वेरी ग्रेट ट्रबल. व्हाट वाज द ट्रबल? क्या मुसीबत थी इनके सामने, क्या परेशानियां थी जो ये अमेरिका में रहकर फेस कर रहे थे? दे वर द विक्टिम्स ऑफ ह्यूज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन on the basis of their skin color. Whether they were living in America, but these people who originally belong to Africa, they were the subject of the discrimination. And the base of this discrimination was their skin color. I think you have remembered that in one of the chapter of 9th class, you have heard about this racial discrimination of South Africa, and by the South African government, which was British government in South Africa, they legally allowed this. And this legal system of racial discrimination in South Africa was known as apartheid. In simple language, racial discrimination, a kind of discrimination which base was the race, the originality. So, what happened? Against this discrimination, which African were facing in America, against this, they began a civil rights movement. Against this racial discrimination, a civil rights movement was begun in US. Now, again I come back on that previous event what I was telling you. That was the story of Mexico Olympic. I left that how Thomas Smith won the first gold medal, how Peter got the silver medal, and John Carlos won the bronze medal. And many of you are aware about the medal receiving ceremony. When any player win, after they are winning, a very nice ceremony is organized by the sports association, and you know it was the most uh, precious and most honorable games which are known as Olympic games. So its ceremony also organized in a equal large way. So what happened in this ceremony? What these three people did, what became the part of the history? Actually अब मैं आपको बताने जाने वाली हूँ वो पॉइंट। जब ये तीनों के तीनों लोग मेडल सेरेमनी में गए तो एक्चुअली इन तीनों ने किया क्या वहाँ पर, और जो इन्होंने वहाँ किया, हाउ देयर एक्शन वॉज रिलेटेड विद द civil right movement in US. Let's see what these people did. What they did. Here they resembles for whom? ये they यहाँ पे किसके लिए use हुआ है? This they word is used for Thomas Smith, Peter Norman and John Carlos. During the medal ceremony, they were standing with clenched fists and heads bowed. When they went there to receive their medal, do you know what was their body gesture? What was their position? They were with the clenched fist. Do you understand the meaning of these two words clenched? Clenched means in this way. जब हम मुट्ठी को बांध के रखते हैं, और इस मुट्ठी को बांध के, याद है आप लोगों को हमने अपनी नेशनल मूवमेंट में बहुत सारे नारे लगाए हैं, भारत माता की जय, हम लोग हाथ ऊपर करके नारा लगाते हैं. दिस इज नॉन एज क्लेंच्ड फीस्ट. देयर फीस्ट वॉज क्लेंच्ड. मुट्ठी तो उनकी बंद थी और हाथ ऊपर था. देवर विद द रेज्ड हैंड एंड क्लेंच्ड फीस्ट, बट देयर हेड वॉज बोड. मतलब उनका सिर झुका हुआ था. Then, second thing, when they went there to receive their medal, they were wearing black socks, which was not going with the spirit of the sports. They were wearing black socks, काले रंग की socks पहनी हुई थी उन्होंने, and no shoes. They went there without shoes, and actually it was hurting the sports spirit. It was hurting the Olympic spirit. They actually did not want to hurt the spirit, this Olympic spirit. But why they did so? Because they wanted to show the black poverty. And what was the action of Peter Norman? See, this person Peter Norman, he did not belong to America. He was an Australian athlete. But this person support the action of John Carlos and Tommy Smith. And how he supported? He supported with wearing a human right badge. He was wearing, Peter Norman, who was an Australian athlete, he was wearing a human right badge. Why he was wearing? Because he was supporting his two of the athletes. This was the common thing in between three of them, na? So he also supported. But the question is, which is arising in my mind and I think in your mind also, why these athletes did so? Why they showed this kind of the gesture in the big ceremony of Olympic Games? The answer is, actually they wanted to draw the attention of the whole world. What is happening in America? They wanted to make the people aware. They wanted to make the world people aware कि actually the America, which is a big country, a superpower of the world, but inside of the country, what is happening with of African people. How African people are the subject of the discrimination everywhere. Nobody was listening there. Their demand, black people's demand in America. So these athletes used this Olympic Games big platform to raise the voice of their own people. Now, what happened after their action? After the action of these three people? This I will tell you in my next video. Till then, wait and watch.